Al Capone, the untouchable king of crime. Chicago, the roaring 20s. The streets are alive with jazz, booze, and blood. In the shadows, one man ruled it all, with charm, cruelty, and cold calculation. His name was Al Capone, the man they called Scarface. Alphonse Gabriel Capone was born on January 17, 1899, in Brooklyn, New York. His parents were Italian immigrants, humble, hard-working people with big dreams. His father was a barber, his mother a seamstress. But young Al had different dreams. He dropped out of school in the 6th grade after punching a teacher. Soon, he fell in with local street gangs like the 5 Points Gang, run by a man named Johnny Torrio, Capone's future mentor. At just 18, Capone got into a bar fight that would change his life. He insulted a woman. Her brother slashed his face with a knife. That scar would follow him forever. That's when the name Scarface was born, but Capone hated it. He once told a reporter, "Don't call me Scarface. My friends call me Snorky." In 1919, Capone moved to Chicago to work for Johnny Torrio, just before America passed Prohibition, banning the sale of alcohol. But where the law ends, profit begins. Torrio and Capone built an empire, running speakeasies, brothels, and bootlegging operations. Then in 1925, Torrio was shot and stepped down. Capone, just 26 years old, became boss of the Chicago outfit. In a city of corruption, bullets, and bribes, Capone wasn't just a gangster. He was the king. By the late 1920s, Capone was earning over $100 million a year. That's more than $1 billion today. His organization controlled illegal breweries, gambling, prostitution, and politics. He paid off judges, bribed cops, and silenced rivals. He lived like a movie star. Silk suits, Cuban cigars, bulletproof cars. To the poor, he was a hero. He opened soup kitchens. He gave money to families during the Great Depression. But to his enemies, he was a monster. A Chicago resident once said, Capone was both devil and saint, a devil with deep pockets. Capone ruled with charm and with violence. His enemies were gunned down in broad daylight. One of the bloodiest moments came on February 14, 1929, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. 7 men from a rival gang were lined up against a wall and executed by Capone's men dressed as police officers. Capone, of course, had an alibi. He was in Florida at the time. Still, the nation was shocked. The legend of Capone grew darker. Despite it all, no one could touch him. He bribed City Hall. Witnesses disappeared. Police looked the other way. The press called him untouchable. But behind closed doors, the government was watching. Enter Eliot Ness, a young federal agent who refused to be bought. Ness and his team, nicknamed the Untouchables, raided Capone's breweries. They hit his profits, and then they got smart. They didn't go after the murders, they went after the money. Eliot Ness once said, "We couldn't catch him with bullets, so we caught him with numbers." In 1931, the U.S. government indicted Capone on 22 counts of tax evasion. They brought in accountants, bookkeepers, and ledgers as evidence. In court, Capone tried to act calm, confident, but the jury wasn't buying it. The verdict? Guilty. Capone was sentenced to 11 years in federal prison, not for murder, not for racketeering, but for taxes. First, he was sent to Atlanta Penitentiary, but he still bribed guards and lived in comfort. So, in 1934, he was transferred to the newly built Alcatraz, the most secure prison in America. There, he was isolated. No bribes, no visitors, no favors. Just cold bars and hard labor. Worse, his mind began to crumble. Capone had advanced syphilis. The disease had gone untreated for years. It attacked his brain. By 1938, he was confused, paranoid, and mentally broken. He served 7 years. In 1939, he was released early due to his health. Capone retired to a mansion in Palm Island, Florida. He spent his final years with his wife and family, a shadow of the man who once ruled Chicago. He would sit in the garden, talk to ghosts. He believed enemies were still after him. He called out names of dead men in his sleep. On January 25, 1947, Al Capone died of pneumonia and stroke. He was 48 years old. The man once called untouchable died a prisoner in his own mind. A reporter wrote, "The man who ruled the city died as just another broken criminal." Al Capone's name still echoes through American history. He was a paradox, a killer who fed the poor, a thief who played the hero, a gangster who beat the system until the numbers caught up with him. His story is a reminder that power built on crime never lasts.